Hey everybody. So I felt like coming back with another what all these modules mean video for you. Felt like going over energy turrets today so that we can understand what all those words mean and why. So let's get into it. Start off with, we're gonna be in the energy turrets, beam lasers, and everything we're gonna talk about is going to correspond with also pulse lasers. And we'll get a little into them, but take everything we're doing with beam lasers and it can be easily translated back over to pulse lasers. The main difference between beam and pulse is range and amount of times they fire per second. We're gonna look at beamed weapons. With lights, there are two different types, and when we get into mediums and heavies, there are three different types of laser. Now, what's the main difference between all? And there's a whole bunch here. We're not getting into faction, as you know. This is for the beginner, so they can understand what's going on. So there are dual light beam lasers, and there are small focus beam lasers. The major differences that we have with these are range and tracking speed. Those are the first two things that you mainly want to look at, because let's say I'm taking out a really fast frigate and I'm trying to dodge all the attacks and I need to get up in their face. Well, I don't need range at that point. I need one, tracking and rate of fire, so I can lay down as much fire as I can without them hitting me and having to slow down, because slower your tracking speed, less chance you're going to hit if you're moving and they're moving at the same time. So the accuracy is the first thing. But if you have a slower ship trying to stay at range, go with a small focus beam. So the first words you need to pay attention to are dual and small focus. That's the first part. The other things that they have is damage modifiers. Of course, longer range ones hit a little harder, but the trade-off is they take more to operate. With beam weapons, even with energy weapons, to shoot your weapon, you are using your capacitor. You're using this bad boy up in the upper right hand corner. My Stradio is strapped for capacitor right now, just to how I have it set up for certain things. But every time you shoot, it uses a tiny bit of the capacitor to fire, instead of using an actual bullet or something. Assume that capacitor. So, moving from there, other quick advantages: the dual beams cost less to fit. That's nice. Again, if you're running a really fast ship, you can throw these on here, throw on a bigger afterburner or even a micro warp drive, and zip around all over the place. Overload or overheating, we're not going to worry about that too much, but if you overheat your weapons will do more damage to the enemy. Now, I said there's those two. That's the first part. But maybe asking me, what are these? The affilade, the anode, and modular light, and the modulated versions of each of these. Let's throw them in. So you may be asking, why in the world would I even buy one of these lower versions? Well, you probably won't. Reason why they're on the market and they're there is because a lot of them are loot drops, or destroying other enemy ships. Because they don't drop the best every time on the field, and most people just sell off the level 0 to 3s. So when selecting your weapon, unless you need some weird optimal range or a certain multiplier, or if for some reason the fitting is just a little better with a lower version, which 99% of the time it's not, your modulated light energy, or just the word modulated, that's what you're looking for, is the level 4, the Tech 4 version, which is, I'm sorry, not Tech, but the meta level. This is going to be your longest range, as we can see, your biggest modifier, your best activation, and your best fitting amount. So let's take this. And we didn't go over Tech 2 stuff last time, but let's say we were. Why wouldn't I take, or what's the differences? Why would I take a level 1 or Tech 1 version of a weapon versus Tech 2? When the Tech 2 has all this great stuff. Well, some people don't have the ability, or they don't have the skills yet. So this would be your best bet, the modulated. But the Tech 2 version, it has some small disadvantages, but you can easily compensate and do a lot more damage with them. First off, activate to shoot them. They cost a little bit more on the capacitor. They cost a little bit more to fit, and they cost a little bit more power usage on CPU and power. Other advantage is advanced laser crystals. This means that they can use these types of beam types, which do lots more damage than a standard crystal. But we're not getting to that. Worry about how the beams differ. So if you're looking for the best Tech 1s, modulated is what you're looking for. And then, of course, Tech 2s, always better, have more versatility. Can swap out to all of the different shots. Now, I also said at the beginning, in mediums and large beams, there are 3 different versions. There's focused, heavy, quad laser beam. Again, same idea. The differences are range, accuracy fall off, turret track, which we can kind of see where the middle of the road is. That there. Swap those. There we go. Okay. So yeah, from least to greatest, we have these 3 properties again. Quads, short range, but fire faster. But have lower damage modifiers. But they have the highest track. They can track the enemy faster. Same thing with each weapon. It is the range versus damage. Higher range, higher damage. A lower chance to hit with your tracking speed. Same thing with activation costs. Basically your ammunition, shorter range, less activation cost. Range, long range, because you got to shoot that beam further out. Again, same thing with all of the fittings as well. And power usage, see how much you're going to be. And just to prove my point, each one, focus modulated, heavy modulated, and quad modulated. There. Again, each one is the level 4 version, and they would be the best to choose depending on what type of combat you're trying to do. Instead of choosing all those other ones, just don't pay attention to the rest. Unless you really need to hit a certain mark. They're basically the same in the activation and fitting costs, but nowhere near the accuracy and damage that the level 4s have. But I hope that helped an understanding that you just have to read the first couple words of each module to understand what they do and how they're going to affect your gameplay. But you have a great day, and thanks for watching. Bye for now.